Hello everyone, welcome back in this episode of Bitcoin Trade. A little bit of news going on here. This is from, let me see, what site is this from? Crypto Coin News. Crypto Coin News. And a lot of stuff going on here. Each news website has their own thing that they're reporting. And I found this particular article, Bitcoin trading platform Bitfinex is distancing themselves from Bitstamp. And so let's go into that article a little bit. And as you've seen from my previous episode, I talked about how the price of Bitfin, Bitsy, Bitstamp, Coinbase, they were all starting to separate there for a little bit, and Bitfin was by far the higher in price. And now this has been dated. Let me see, on the 6th, and so today is. It's almost been more than today's 14th. So this article's been out for a while, and I think this is probably the reason why I've seen the difference in price when it was peaking and then falling from that peak, from the current peak anyway. And if you read this, it talks about, it was on a Reddit forum, and they talk about what they're doing is basically, when I first saw Bitfin, which was a while ago, and I did an episode on that, it said on their website something like they're using Bitsy and Bitstamp to get their Bitcoins and everything. Now it looks like they're have enough volume of their own to not do that anymore, become their standalone own exchange, seems like. So whenever that happened, whenever that decoupling happened, I could see that the prices have really started to shake out. But basically, this particular question here about the arbitrage and the answer about, they're going to let basically the market arbitrage the price. And right now, what I'm seeing, if anybody wants to see it, right now, I am seeing that, because you're seeing right here. Oh, great. Well, let me pull back here a little. Okay. Well, it's not doing it, but they're all around 565. Bitfin's gone up a little bit, 570, but it's coming down to a point where, yeah, 570. Let's have a quick look here. 570, 567. So it's very close. Bitsy at 566, and then Bitfin at 571. It kind of pulled away a little bit, but it's getting closer, very, very close. And Coinbase at 568. So now they're all starting to kind of level out a little. Bitfin seems to still be a little bit higher, but it looks like a lot of people are probably moving their coins and selling off into that exchange to even out the price. And it would make sense if they're gonna not be in the order books of Bitstamp or Bitsy or anybody else, and they're trying to become their own standalone exchange, fully functional, fully independent. It makes sense that the price would kind of go up, because they're not buying from anyone to lower the price. They're expecting people to move the bitcoins over to this exchange to lower the price, if that makes sense. Anyways, it's come a lot better than, if you see the other prices, 167, 165. So they're within a $5 range. It used to be at 10, used to be at 20. At one point, it was about 20, almost 25, I would say. Price difference between all the other exchanges. Now it's come down closer, and I think over time it's going to come closer and closer. But again, yeah, I only notice these price differences when prices are moving down. and at one point even BitC was higher. So let's go back to this. So if you read this article, um, there's a link to the Reddit forum, which is right here, and you could see why the difference between Bitstamp and Bitfin's price. And yeah, even this had an update edit. Now it's a $20 US cap. Wow. So for a while it was doing that, and when they did that, and you know, it seems like it was done a while ago, but now with the price drop, see, this is about two days ago. So now with the price drop, I mean, you could really see it, and it might have been a great opportunity if you were trying to arbitrage through the exchange. You made a $20 difference, which is great. But I've mentioned many times before, arbitraging through the exchange, it's possible. You have to be patient. You have to wait for the right time, usually when the price is surging, or the price is surging up or surging down. That's when I usually see the arbitrage opportunity. Usually what I like to do is, you know, if I see an opportunity where all the prices are about the same, that's when I like to buy or sell, depending what position I'm trying to take, because they're all about the same price. And then from there, I like to either, if I'm buying into Bitcoins, I like to move my Bitcoins around to the other exchange if there's a big enough difference. In this particular Reddit, further down in the bottom, there is a portion where one of the one user mentioned about you don't really move your Bitcoins if you have multiple Bitcoins in these exchanges. What you do is you sell on one exchange and then buy on the other exchange. And theoretically, you don't have to, you know, wait for the movement of your Bitcoins to do that. Which is, you can do that, but the problem is you got to have some Bitcoins and some money in each and every exchange. Which, you know, that's what I do actually. And it's not a bad idea, because there's a lot of fear of exchanges becoming a centralized form of Bitcoin. And you know, it's true in some sense, but if you have enough trading accounts and you're trading on all of them, that's a way to mitigate that centralization, in my opinion anyway. And so you know, I highly recommend anybody who's trading to go ahead and trade on all the exchanges that at least the major exchanges that will allow you to trade there. And so that's kind of what I've done. Another thing which you also want to do, not only with your Bitcoins, but also your banking too. Whoever you bank with, if they let you bank with them, I would not put all your money into one bank, because you're centralizing your money, so to speak. I guess it really doesn't matter with fiat currency, but at the same time, you want to mitigate the risk of bank closures, or ending a bank ending your relationship. I mentioned that before about how a bank will end your relationship. And actually, on the Reddit forum, there is a very popular a forum on Chase. On Chase just closing your account. So there's other banks out there that they may close your account, plus any fraudulent activity, people hacking into your bank accounts and stuff like that. So what you want to do is you want to, you know, and it's perfectly fine to do this, is you need to diversify your currency holdings with different banking institutions. So if there's ever another financial collapse, money collapse, you know, fiat currency collapse, you know, you can protect yourself in that way, because you'll be able to trade money for Bitcoins, Bitcoin for money, etc., to the point where, well, at least what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put out enough Bitcoin into circulation that Bitcoin and US dollar, or Bitcoin to euro, or Bitcoin to any fiat currency, it can be, you can detach yourself from that, and eventually you're going to see more just straight, this is how much Bitcoin this is worth. You don't have to worry about conversion or you know, what currency. It's just going to be all worth X amount of Bitcoins. So I'm hoping that if I do this long enough, and if I can get enough Bitcoins into Main Street. Remember I talked about, you know, putting Bitcoins out in the streets a long time ago. I'm mainly talking about, you know, in this particular case, I really want to see more Main Street use than Wall Street use. Now, I've heard people talk about the different phases, and they're saying that, you know, Wall Street will come in, and then after that, it'll become mainstream. That's great and all, but I'd really, the ultimate goal for me is to see Main Street use, and nobody cares how much US dollars it's going to cost to buy a Bitcoin, because I want everyone to actually just have Bitcoins. And you know, you won't need to convert. It will no longer be a convertible virtual currency. It will just become virtual currency. I've also read another forum where they talk about, they don't like the wording virtual currency over digital currency, but you know, I have my opinions on that, but that's for another episode. Anyways, read the article. Read this forum. It's very good. There's a lot of things in there, and supposedly the owner of Bitfin has come out to explain what's going on. They are decoupling themselves from Bitstamp, maybe even Bitsy and any other exchange, to actually be on their own, and the price is going to be dictated by the people who use Bitcoin, the people who trade Bitcoin. Are they going to arbitrage? Are they going to take away? Are they going to put in? Are they going to trade? So, you know, you're starting to see a more open market here. There's a lot of fears in Bitfin on whether this can, if they're a trusted company, they can be trusted. And I guess that's going to be up to the users, up to the market. So anyway, let's go to a chart analysis. So this is probably one reason why you've seen the price of Bitcoins on different exchanges start to move around. So you're gonna see that, but I've noticed right now it's starting to balance out again. So let's do another chart analysis here, and here you go, chart analysis. And this is a Bitstamp on a 12-hour period with the lines. So let's pull back, take a look at the lines. So there it is, and I'm pulling back in, and as you see, it did stop right here. It spiked down a little bit below. Don't need to go up, to go down. The question is, how long is it going to stay here, or is it going to hit below? Because if it hits below, you're looking at this being the support. If it stays above here, and then this is just this, you could say this is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe the 5th wave going up will hit up to 700. Maybe, I'm not sure. This is the problem with the wave theorists. I mean, is this the first wave, or is this the first wave? So I don't know. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had a runny nose here. So, anyways, this is Bitstamp. Let's go on to Bitsy. Now, Bitsy is a little different, but if you look at it, it worked out really great. So this is being the top line, and if you look, it broke out, comes back and hits, and where's it going? on that top line. Isn't that interesting? And on this support. So what Bitseed's telling me, and always Bitseed's always been telling me something different, but you could see that it broke out, came back, and it's riding this, and then stops at this support. So this is a really good support area, and it's showing. It's really showing it too, because if you look at it, look how it reacted. Look how it reacted. There's your supporting lines here, and this is the hard stop support on Bitsy anyway. So what you see is this is just a retracement, which I always felt it could be. I mean, there's a good chance that it was a retracement. I've mentioned it before, but if it holds here at this price range, there's a good chance that this is just a retracement, just money being taken, and then you're going to see probably another surge on the upside. That's if it, but then again, it doesn't have to do what I wanted to do. It's all going to depend on how strong it can hold this line. If it can't hold here and it goes below, you're probably going to look at back around here again, maybe even further, depending what it does. And then let's take a good look at Bitfin. Bitfin, there you go. And you can see it's doing the same thing. Let's zoom in there a little bit. Pretty much the same. It is coming back down to pair, and you know I think what you're saying is because it's a higher price, what people will do will buy from BitC or Bitstamp or even Coinbase to a certain degree. At some point, if you bought at Coinbase, even at their higher price, and you moved your bitcoins to Bitfin, you still would have made a couple dollars. So even if you bought Coinbase and you paid their fees and everything, and then moved it over here to Bitfin, you still made up. You could still be even or a couple dollars. I don't know now, but at one point you could, and it wouldn't make sense that people would just, eventually sell off here. They're selling their bitcoins to take advantage of the pricing difference, the arbitrage, and that's what you're probably seeing. But again, I think it's going to just fall in line with all the others eventually to about this price right here, and which looks like it's getting really close. It wouldn't surprise me that if it just touches, and then from there it'll start moving. I'd watch Bitfin more closely now that they've decoupled from other exchanges on their order books. The order books, and you're starting to see, and because of that, you're starting to see them as a. It's all red now, but you're starting to see them becoming by volume a leader, and so that's kind of like a big step for Bitfin, in my opinion. So anyways, let's go back to Bitfin and check this out, and then we'll take a look at Coinbase, whatever's left of Coinbase. And Coinbase is doing pretty much the same thing, different. The way the lines are set up a little different, but pretty much it's doing the same thing. It's actually even hit at that line, at that support. So we'll see if it could hold on to that. And then here's Kraken, and here's a look on Kraken. So Kraken tells me a little bit different. It's got an extra set of lines here. These two channels. This whole channel in general, but I'm seeing two channels within this. So if you see a price break on Kraken, what you can see is that if it does break through here, it'll maybe stop here. If it breaks through here, here's your next support. So there's some extra information on Kraken that I don't see on some of the other exchange. And then let's go ahead and zoom in. Oh, too much. And you'll see that I just put the lines out there, and it just hit that way. It stopped, hits here. It'll probably keep going a little further until it may hit here or around here, and then we'll see what happens. Okay. So, anyways, this concludes my episode on Bitfin. I guess I could check out some other news and see what's going on. There seems to be a lot of stuff happening. Here's another news article that may, damn Chinese, they're always trying to ruin the party. Anyways, Chinese Payments Association wants banks to identify, eliminate Bitcoin activity. Is that any? Well, that's not really new, but there's a lot of things going on here. I'd recommend go ahead and reading them and trying to educate yourself as much as possible of all the things that are happening. So, anyways, that's it for that. Let's end it off on Bitfin now, because they're the leading US by volume. So there you go. There's the chart analysis. I hope you all have a great time trading. Anyway, this concludes my episode here. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, even do your own video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.